Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot.
But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not.
The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
Could be his head wasn't screwed on just right.
Could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight.
I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos.
Staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath.
And they're hanging their stockings. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here.
Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming.
Let's find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
Tomorrow he knew.
All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys and then...
The noise. Oh, the noise. Noise, noise, noise.
That's the one thing he hated.
The noise.
Noise!
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 And the Whos, young and old, would sit down to a feast.
And they'd feast.
And they'd feast.
And they'd feast.
Feast?
Feast.
Feast!
They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast.
Which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least.
Then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand.
Whos would start singing.
Sing.
And they'd sing. And they'd sing.
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 The more the Grinch thought of this Who's Christmas sing,
Stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Got an idea.
Awful idea.
Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
Just what to do.
Made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat.
Great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found.
Did that stop the old Grinch?
No! Can't find a reindeer? I'll make one instead.
So he called his dog Max.
then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn to the top of his head.
Then he loaded some bags.
Some old empty sacks.
And a ramshackle sleigh.
He hitched up old Max.
Get up!
And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town.
Their windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air.
Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care.
When he came to the first little house on the square,
this is stop number 1!
And he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist.
Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch.
But if Santa could do it,
then so could the Grinch.
Got stuck only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row.
These stockings? First thing to go!
Slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant.
Around the whole room, and he took every present.
Pop guns. And bicycles.
Roller skates.
Drums.
Checkerboards.
Tricycles.
Popcorn. And plums.
He stuffed them in bags.
Then the Grinch, very nimbly, stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney.
Then he slunk to the ice box.
He took the Who's feast.
He took the Who pudding.
He took the roast beast.
Cleaned out that ice box as quick as a flash.
Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash.
Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee.
Now I will stuff up the tree.
The Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove.
When he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove.
He turned around fast and he saw a small who.
Little Cindy Lou Who.
Who was not more than 2.
Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water.
Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?
But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie.
He thought it up quick.
Why, my sweet little tot, the light on this tree, they won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here.
And his fib fooled the child.
He patted her head and got her a drink, and then he sent her to bed.
Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup. He went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up.
And the last thing he took was the log for their fire.
Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar.
On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire.
And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse.
He did the same thing to the other Who's houses.
Leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
It was a quarter passed on. The Who's still in bed.
All the Who's still a snooze.
When he packed up his sled,
Packed it up with their presents.
The ribbons.
The wrappings.
The tags.
And the tinsel.
The trimmings. The trappings.
1,000 feet up.
The side of Mount Crumpet.
He rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it.
Pooh-pooh to the Who's. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise I simply must hear.
He paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow.
Started in low.
It started to grow.
But the sound wasn't sad.
Why, the sound sounded merry.
It couldn't be so.
But it was merry. Very.
Stared down at Whoville.
Grinch popped his eyes.
Then he shook.
Saw was a shocking surprise.
Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing.
Without any presents at all.
Hadn't stopped Christmas from coming, it came.
Somehow or other, it came just the same.
The Grinch, with his Grinch feet, ice cold in the snow.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. I hate it when that happens.
then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
And what happened then?
Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
The minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light.
And he brought back the toys.
And the food for the feast.
And he himself.
Grinch carved the roast beast.
Are you videotaping? Good.
I need to read this through words.
Grinch even took their last case. Oh, I missed it.
And then they do, and his fib fooled the child.
Harry.
Oh, did you want me to? Okay, hold on. Do that again.
Noise. And what happened? I messed that up. I wasn't ready.
Are you gonna go?
Oh.
Dang.
It could be leaving crumbs much too small for the other whose mouses.
Try tricycles again.
Tricycles. Leaving crumbs much too small for the other whose mouses. I gotta do that over. 1 second. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
When I hear the beat.
Go ahead.
What?
Okay, well then.
All the Who's were
That's it.